retired Chief Executive Officer for the Community Action Partnership, Huntsville, Madison, and Limestone counties, a position I held for 33 years. And prior to that, I was principal at Tony Junior High School in Tony, Alabama, a 9th grade school for 2 years. And prior to that, I was principal at Tennessee Valley High School, Hillsborough, Lawrence County, Alabama, for 6 years. And prior to that, I spent 7 years at the William H. Councill High School in Huntsville, Alabama, 6 of those years as the first organizing band director for the school. And prior to that, of course, I was in college and in the military. Mm-hmm.
Did you teach anything else other than band?
At Councill? Mm-hmm. Oh, I taught 8th grade arithmetic, and I believe I taught one course in 7th grade social studies while I was at Councill. And also, while at Councill, I organized the first band for Calvary Hill School, and I was band director at Calvary Hill School for 3 years, in addition to being band director at the William H. Councill High School for 6 years. I was the only band director in town with 2 bands in the Christmas parade and 2 bands in any other public function, you know, and that was quite a challenge, to say the least. But I enjoyed it.
Okay. Share with us some of the things that took place at Councill while you were there interacting with the teachers of the school, the feelings about the students and the integration.
I thought when I was hired at Councill, I was still in college. I was a senior in college, having recently been separated from the military. I spent a year, 9 months, and 21 days in the Army. And while in the Army, in the U.S. Army, I played with the 11th Airborne Division Band stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. After spending 8 weeks in basic band training at the 8th Infantry Band Training Unit in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So as soon as I was separated from the military to re-enroll at Alabama A&M to finish my degree, I was asked, I applied for the vacant band director job at Councill High School, William H. Councill High School, and I was a full-time student at Alabama A&M, and a band director part-time at the William H. Councill School. That happened in September 30, October 1955. So I had quite a load being a full-time student, carrying 17 semester hours at the university and putting as many hours as I could in at William H. Councill High School, organizing the first band that they ever had for black children in the city of Huntsville. I thought that was significant, that public schools could exist so long in the city, but made no provisions for black children to have the musical experiences that you get in a marching and concert band. So they finally got around to it in 1955 when they employed me to organize the first band. In addition to, see, I really had essentially 2 jobs for one salary. Really 3 jobs for one salary, because I had 2 bands, and both bands were fully uniformed, and both bands participated in the concert season and the marching band competition at Alabama A&M, and all other public functions, and they like to work the devil out of me, you know, for one salary. Yeah. When most of the other schools in the city had feeder schools. See, there was no feeder school for black children. First, they thought they'd have a band. They didn't want black children. They had a musical experience. but Mr. Fields as principal prevailed and got him to hire a band director. And in 3 years, we received top honors in the Alabama State Band Festival at Alabama A&M. We got the Best Dress Award after the second year, and then after the third year, we had a #1 superior performance in concert, and very excellent scores each time we participated in a marching band concert, marching band contest. So it worked the devil out of me, but I enjoyed it. It made a man out of me.
All right.
So, like I said, on the side, they needed somebody to fill out the schedule, so I volunteered to teach a 7th grade social studies class, and then I volunteered to teach a 8th grade mathematics class while I was doing all of those other things. So, but it was quite an experience, and one that I enjoyed and one that I learned a lot from. I had excellent support from the administration and excellent support from the student body, and discipline was a problem school-wide at Councill, and I assisted to the maximum extent possible in trying to maintain order among the total student population, and I believe that was one thing I was missed most for when I left, was assisting with the discipline problems, because there were many at Councill and at Cavalry. And so they missed me. As a matter of fact, every job I've ever had in my life and left, I've been asked to come back and do it again. I was asked to come back to Huntsville to be Mr. Fields' assistant, as assistant principal at Cavalry. And of course, I'd made other commitments at that time. I was the first black person that, to be hired as superintendent of schools for the Greene County, Alabama school system in Utah, Alabama. But that got all embroiled in legal controversies, and I didn't get a chance to go as superintendent, which would have made me the first black superintendent in the state of Alabama, and indeed possibly in the Southeast. So even the exposure was good for me, and the fact that that's one job I didn't get that they asked me to apply for was a blessing, because there was so much work to be done there in Greene County. Whenever you're the first of anything, there's a lot of work to be done. And then trying to desegregate a school system in Greene County, Utah, Alabama was going to be a major challenge, but that's one opportunity I didn't get to participate in. Praise the Lord. Okay?
Okay. So when you left Councill, was that the time when integration took place?
Okay. Integration took place after I left.
Okay.
I left Councill to go to Lawrence County, Alabama, Hillsborough, as principal in '63. And I believe the integration occurred in about 1966 in Huntsville. But you may need to talk to someone else on that subject, because, as I said, I was not here.
Okay.
But now when I came back to Madison County in 1969, the school system was beginning to desegregate.
Okay.
And so in 1969 and 70, the Tony Junior High School was an all-black school that they asked me to come and serve as educational leader for, a principal. And then in 1970-71, the Madison County schools were desegregated. And my school, the school at Tony, went from an all-black school to a 75% white student body and teachers. And so that was quite an experience too. One that I enjoyed, and one that I received excellent support from the community, the black and white community, and from the administration, the superintendent, the Board of Education, and others. And when I was ready to leave to accept the job at community action, they really asked me to stay, but they didn't ask me in time. But they wanted me to be the principal at Sparkman High School, but I'd already accepted the job with community action, so I didn't get to go to Sparkman High School as the principal of an integrated high school. So that kind of brings me to where we are now. But as I sit and think and reflect, it's been quite a ride. I mean, but every job I've ever had, I have been asked to come back again. When I left Madison County, they wanted me to come back as principal of Bob Jones High School that they were opening up, but I committed to stay with community action. Mm-hmm. When I left Lawrence County, they asked me to come back and be principal of Cortland High School, but I was already committed to come here. And when I left Councill in Calvary, the Councill, they asked me to come back and work with Mr. Fields. Mr. Fields did at Calvary Hill primarily to help with the discipline problems they were having over there. And they had major discipline problems at both schools in the late 60s, in the early 60s. And I think that there were many teachers who just didn't want to get involved in the discipline. They would just observe it, but they didn't do much about it. But I elected to try to help maintain law and order for the schools, and I don't regret that at all. And I don't think the students regret it either. So I'm glad I chose education as a profession, educational leadership, and administration, and leadership of a private agency, private nonprofit agency like Community Action. Community Action was almost, well, it was on the ropes. And I didn't apply for the job they asked me to apply for. And I had a decision to make at that time whether to go to Community Action or go to Rock Island, Illinois as principal. I had an offer to go to Rock Island, Illinois as principal of a very large high school, predominantly white high school. They heard about me, asked me to come out there, but I had committed to go to Community Action, and so I had to decline that offer. But I've had many opportunities now. I call them blessings in my life, and I appreciate all of them. And one of the things that I may not have told everyone, but many people know that I'm a cancer survivor.
Oh, okay.
14 years.
All right.
14 years ago, this past month, February, I had colon cancer surgery, and they just removed the colon.
Okay.
And no radiation, no chemo, and no coloscopy. So
Thank God.
4 weeks later, I was back at work after the colon cancer surgery at Community Action, and I haven't had any problems since then with that problem. So I've had many blessings, but that was a major blessing. And in 2 years after the encounter with colon cancer, I married again.
Okay.
So now I've been married to this lady for 12 years. And of course we don't have any children yet, but she brought 2 children into the marriage, and I brought 4, and a host of grandchildren. So we have enough children. But we enjoy one another, and the Lord has been good to us. Anything else?
Since you all want to be Abraham and Sarah.
Yeah, we get told that quite a bit.
Okay, so since you were at Madison County High School, is that correct?
The Madison County schools. I was at Tony.
Okay,
Tony.
Okay.
Yeah, Tony was one of the schools in the Madison County school system.
Okay. And you said when they integrated, it was more.
Right. 75% of my student body and teachers were the opposite race.
Okay.
And the first year when I went to Tony, I had 1 white assistant principal. I think he was sit there to kind of keep tabs on me, you know. I didn't have a hand in hiring him. He was there. He came with me, and so we worked well together. And there were many challenges facing us as we desegregated the schools, but we didn't have any problem from the parents or from the children.
Mm-hmm.
The second year I was at Tony, I was at the Classic in Birmingham, the Magic City Classic, and somebody went in there and set school on fire. And while I was in Birmingham, I didn't know anything about it. They didn't know how to contact me. That was before cell phones and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came back that Sunday evening and got word that the school had been set ablaze, I rushed out to the community and to check on the school. Parents and students and other people in the community had gotten together while I was gone, cleaned the school up, and had it ready for school that Monday morning.
Okay.
So that's the kind of community support we had. It was just one kid who had been chastised for something, decided he'd set the house on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But it had nothing to do with race.
Okay.
But those people worked together to get and keep the school open. I mean, I enjoyed working at Tony. Matter of fact, every job I've ever had, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
And all of them were difficult challenges, but it's a challenge that I accepted when I accepted the job. Everything that went along with it, I accepted. It's just like getting married.
Right.
You know, it's just like getting married. Whatever, you just have to deal with it.
Yep.
You see, you just have to deal with it. Then, of course, you can't deal with it. Then you have to do your next best.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been divorced twice. You see, so perhaps I married too early. But anyhow, the first marriage lasted about maybe 2 years. I was still in college. And then the second marriage lasted 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was divorced for about 17, 18 years. And then I've been married to this lady for 12 years.
Okay.
So I've been pretty busy. Yeah, pretty busy.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Any closing remarks or anything else?
Well,
Since
it's
you had
all
no
we-
problems with segregation at all.
No, my job really was to ensure that we got a fair shake and a fair deal out of the desegregation process. I worked as a consultant for the Legal Defense and Education Trust Fund of the NAACP, and they provided funds for legal assistance in the desegregation process in Alabama. So I had a chance to work with the Legal Defense and Education Trust Fund of the NAACP in ensuring that we got a fair deal in Lawrence County, Alabama. And I worked closely with the superintendent, the Board of Education, and the legal team in Madison County. As a matter of fact, they relied on me, the Board of Education of Madison County relied on me to advise them on which schools should and should not be closed in Madison County. And all of my recommendations to the board were accepted. And the schools that I thought should not be closed, or they did not close, and the schools that I thought should be closed, that's black and white. Those schools were closed in the desegregation process, so they relied heavily on my recommendations. And I was extremely proud of that, because I had to get, consensus, and I had to talk with people in the community, and it was their collective ideas that I presented as my idea in the end, and what schools should be open and what schools should be closed in Madison County. I did not have that much input with the desegregation of Huntsville City schools because they were under a different court order. But I enjoyed working for the Legal Defense and Education Trust Fund. It's not funny now when you have your telephones tapped, and during the process of being considered for the superintendency, and in Greene County, we had to live through telephones that were tapped at home and at the office. and things like that. But we knew that,
Mm-hmm.
so we knew what to say and what not to say
Right.
on the telephone. The children couldn't quite understand that at first, but
Mm-hmm.
we got a few, threats from some fanatics that's gonna burn the house down at midnight and this kind of stuff. But we took the position that if they were gonna burn it down, they wouldn't tell us. so we went on to sleep, and they would call back. One guy called back and said, "You still in the house?" I said, "I told you and your family you don't need to be gone, because we're going to set the house on Friday night at 12. I said, "Well, come on." I went on back to bed, because I knew if he was going to set it on fire, he wasn't going to tell me, because I'd be waiting on him. But we've had many, many opportunities to be of service to others. And I'm so grateful for that, I don't know what to do. And I had excellent, support from others, including my own family, because we had to take a vote before I took a job,
Okay.
see how others in the family felt about it. So I had excellent support from my family. And they took those threats and things very well. A lot of people didn't know about it. We didn't want to know about it. We worked well with the desegregation of lunch counters in the city of Huntsville while I was at Councill. And my wife would sit in. I couldn't sit in because somebody had to stay home and keep the babies, and that was my job. You go sit in, I'll keep the kids, because I really needed the job. And they were putting pressure on the principals of the local school to keep those folk in line. Those people couldn't leave the campus up here and participate, So most of the desegregation activities in Huntsville were carried on by children from William H. Council High School. Harold Gene Dickerson, Margaret Sims, and others, Dwight Crawford and others. They were the ones down there sitting in, and getting spat on and this kind of stuff. But the rest of us were trying to keep those jobs we had, and we stayed on the campus. Wherever they worked, the black folk just didn't participate, especially the professionals. They just couldn't do it. They were afraid to dare them to do it, I really got chewed out about it because I told the principal one day, I was eating lunch with the faculty at Councill, and I told her that was the Sunday that we were all going to wear blue jeans on Easter Sunday, boycott the stores. I was talking about it at lunch one day, and I said, they down there taking pictures, and I said, I think they got the principal and his wife down there shopping. And somebody went and told him that, and boy, you talking about chewing me out. I mean, he got on me and told me a thing or two about where he was going to spend his money, and nobody would say anything about it. I said, I understand that, and I wasn't really serious. I was just running my mouth. But that was the guy who asked me on 3 occasions to come back and join the staff. He said, come on back. He realized that he was wrong. And he wanted me, and every time he heard of a job that he thought I would be interested in, he called me to do it. But whatever I tried to do, whatever I did, I tried to do my best. I gave 150% every time I ever had a job, and that's what it took. And then, of course, it took support. You can't learn for children. Children have to learn from you.
That's right.
You see, you have to inspire them and encourage them to learn, and then they'll learn. If you provide the leadership and instruction, they'll learn. I had some excellent children working with me at Councill and at Calvary. In spite of all the discipline problems that I had to help them deal with, they had them. But we just did the best we can for what we had. We couldn't let them take over. You see, but I enjoyed working at Councill. I enjoyed working at Calvary, and I enjoyed working with the people in Lawrence County, in Madison County, with the school desegregation effort, and with the public desegregation effort. I enjoyed all of that, and I think the Lord left me here for something. And since He did, I said, I'm going to do the best I can.
That's right.
And I thank Him for all of the help and success that I enjoyed because of Him, because I knew I had to have some help from somewhere. And I spent a lot of time on bended knees, talking to Him. I'm the first member on the roll at my church. the Fellowship Presbyterian Church down the street here.
Mm-hmm.
I am the first member on the roll. I helped organize fellowship.
Okay.
And when Reverend Bell came to town, he lived in the house on the other side of this house. He came and met with me, so when I got home from band practice every evening, he got me and we walked all over this community. We visited every house out here, trying to get some interest in a church, a Presbyterian church. And we never had one in this community with black folks. And so I went with him to visit homes, and we found out that there was an interest in a church. First we met in his house, then we had a rented house up here. Then we built the church down here, the first church.
Mm-hmm.
And then we borrowed some money about, 15, 16 years ago, I guess, and built the structure that we're in now. But I take great pride in announcing that I'm the first member on the roll.
All right.
And all of my children have joined that church, and their children have joined that church, and other children in the community,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that we recruited. And so I'm real proud of that. Very, very proud of the role I played in helping to organize and establish the Fellowship Presbyterian Church, USA, now in Huntsville. I'm real proud of that. And I believe that's about it.
What is your feelings about Councill High? What we should do with the building? What we
Well,
should turn it into?
first of all, it's going to fall down if we don't do something quick. It's when a building is empty for as long as that one has, I don't know why, but it deteriorates real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the plumbing, you know, and infrastructure is gone. And the best thing that they should do is tear it down. You see, it would take more money to try to rehabilitate it and than it would be to tear it down and rebuild a modern structure there. And there are many opportunities to build an office complex there. You know, doctor's office, dentist, you know, and healthcare. Mm-hmm. It's in the healthcare, you know, center of the city and county. But I believe that the building could, I wouldn't try to restore that one. It would cost too much money, and it was built for a school. And it's hard to take a school building and make something else out of it other than a school. Mm-hmm. And it would just cost too much to go in there and redo all of the plumbing and all of the electrical work, the roof, you know. So if I had my way about it, I would seek some of this money that they're throwing around right now, this top and all of that stuff. But nickel and dime and getting a dime from me and $5 from him, that's not going to get it done. You know, you're just wasting time.
Right.
But we need to go on down there and bite the bullet and let the powers that be know that we won't help, and we want it now. Mm-hmm. And they do everything else they want to do, and we can do that if there's a will. But I've often known, and you've often heard, if there's a will, there's a way.
That's right.
So if there's a will on the part of elected officials to tear that building down, and they can call it whatever they want to call it, you know. But it doesn't have to be a school. There'll never be a need in my judgment for another school there. So it'll have to be used for something else. There are too many good schools around. Mm-hmm. You see, too many excellent schools already built. So we don't need a school there, because if you built it there, they think you're building it just for children out the project. And we don't need another school for children out the project. Mm-hmm. You see?
Right. Now you remember, Councill High had collected a lot of trophies and
right.
other stuff. If we could turn it into a museum or
yeah.
something like that and go and collect,
yeah.
What's your feeling on that?
Well, I don't know where those trophies are, do you?
Well, I just heard something maybe up at A&M and Huntsville High and...
Yeah. I couldn't even find a band uniform today if I had to. You know, and I don't know where those band uniforms went. We bought the football uniforms when I was at Tennessee Valley, and they closed William H. Council High. they sold us their football uniforms. I bought them
Mm-hmm.
because we need uniforms bad at Tennessee Valley. But now I don't know what happened to the band uniforms and the majorette uniforms and where the trophies are. You said they at Councill High.
Well, I heard Council High
Yeah.
came and they took this and
Yeah,
A&M took that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
they
guess it
have
would be
few-
a matter of collecting
yeah,
from
they have
all
few-
around.
there are a few trophies down at the Fraternal Club of Huntsville House.
Okay.
I've seen those with my own eyes.
Okay.
And but I just don't know. I haven't been up to the museum lately to see what's up there. But I don't think that there'll ever be a need for another school for Council. Now they can build a monument there that can serve the public good and still call it the William H. Council Office Complex
Right.
or something like that. That can be used by everybody. You can rent the space out, get a bond issue, borrow the money if necessary, and then rent the space out to retire the cost of financing that you see. There are many opportunities for that, but if you are talking about restoring the building as a school, I'm against it.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Because I'm sure I might be in the minority on that subject, but you asked me for my opinion, and that's it.
That's right.
Okay.
You have anything?
That's it.
Okay.
I've enjoyed it. Appreciate this opportunity.
Okay.